I'm back. So you just got the new iPhone 17 or iPhone 17 Pro and you want to get the maximum use of it, right? Well, you've come to the right place because in this video, I'll be going over the 5 best tips and tricks for you to do straight off the bat. From the first settings you should change, the first features you should try out, and just everything you need to know to get the most out of your device. Starting with tip number 1, optimize your battery settings from day 1. This step is crucial for maximizing daily battery life and preserving long-term performance over months and years. Navigate to your battery settings where you'll find a section labeled charging, containing a charging limit chart. You can adjust your charge limit anywhere from 100% down to 80%. While your phone defaults to charging at 100%, which works fine for immediate use, battery longevity improves when you avoid reaching full capacity regularly. Most experts actually recommend maintaining charge levels between 80% and 90%. So I'm going to configure mine at 90%. This means my iPhone will stop charging once it reaches 90% capacity. If you want your battery percentage to show up in the top right, scroll all the way to the bottom of battery settings and toggle battery percentage on or off depending on your preference. The second tip I have is master your camera control settings for better performance. Let me walk you through optimizing the camera control button, as the default configuration isn't ideal for most users. So what you want to do to change this is go to your settings, go down to accessibility. In accessibility, go down until you see camera control. Once inside, look for the light press force section where you'll likely want to select lighter. The default setting places this in the middle position, but reducing the required pressure makes the camera control button much more responsive and comfortable to use. Another setting worth adjusting is controls gesture. I suggest selecting light press, though swipe is also available. This determines how you access additional camera functions. At the bottom, you'll find double light press speed, which controls how quickly you need to tap twice to open the zoom and additional options menu. Consider setting this to slower or slow, since the default timing can feel rushed. If the standard double tap feels too quick, adjust it here by selecting slow or slower. Finally, you can modify which application the control center button opens. The button doesn't need to open the default camera app. You have the flexibility to assign it to alternative options, including third-party photography applications too. Go into your settings again, go to camera, then camera control. Right here at the bottom, you have a little menu where you can choose which application launches when you press the camera control button. So if I want to open up Instagram, for example, I can just press on the camera control and it will take me straight to the Instagram stories, and I can press it again to take a photo. I feel like this is perfect whether you're a content creator or you just love sharing your memories with people. Next, I recommend changing the launch camera setting, because if you accidentally press the camera control button, especially if you're left-handed, you might want to change this from a single click to a double click. So now if I press the camera control button, nothing happens. I have to double click to open up the camera control, so this can be very convenient if you have any accidental presses on that button. And now the final thing you should do with the camera control is light press on the top where it says clean preview. This is on by default, but I personally turn this off. This feature controls interface visibility when using camera controls. When you launch the camera app and begin interacting with your camera control, sliding through the menu will cause the entire camera UI to disappear. All interface elements vanish from the top and bottom of your screen, including mode switchers for photo to video and toggles for live photos. So if you prefer keeping these interface elements visible, disable clean preview. With this setting turned off, returning to the camera and performing the same actions will preserve the complete camera UI layout. Now, the third tip I have is customize your iPhone layout. The next step involves making your device truly yours and helping it stand out. iOS 26 offers customization capabilities that make this easier than ever. Press and hold any empty space of your home screen to activate jiggle mode. Tap edit in the top left corner, then select customize to access icon modification options. I personally favor favor dark mode, though automatic is available as well. You'll also find tinted icons here as an option too. To match your wallpaper perfectly, use this eyedropper tool to sample the exact colors from your background. Adjust saturation levels and color values to your preference. There's also an option to darken the background, which works particularly well with dark icons. And then we also have large icons, which will make your icons larger and they will lose the text underneath. So it makes a really clean home screen. You could also move applications around anywhere on the grids. They don't have to necessarily be right next to each other anymore. So this is great, especially if you have widgets or maybe a wallpaper where you want to see like a building or a person in the background. You can now arrange your icons around that building or person because you can move them around anywhere on the grid. They still have to actually be in a grid, but they don't have to be right next to each other anymore. Now that our iPhone is customized for us, let's move on to number 4. Configure your display settings. So this is a very important one. This should honestly be one of the first things you do. I should have put this higher on the list. So let's go into our settings. We have a lot of things to change here. So let's start simple. If we go into our settings and go to display and brightness, you want to make sure that you have your light and dark mode configured. I personally like having mine set to automatic. So it's light during the day and it's dark at night when the sun sets. Although right now it's 9:09 a.m. and I'm still in light mode, but that's just for this video. But down here, we do also have our brightness and we do have auto lock. So auto lock, I would recommend not having set to never. This is just a test device, so I have that on right now, but I would recommend having this much higher than the 30 seconds that comes by default. This is when your phone will automatically lock if you're not doing anything on it. It gets really annoying at the default, which is 30 seconds, so I would recommend having that set to maybe 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere in that range. And then raise to wake is a feature that's on by default. And what this does is when you raise your phone up, it wakes it up and turns the screen on, which I always find leads to a lot of false positives and battery drains. So I turn it off. If you really like that feature, by all means keep it on, but I personally turn it off for me. Night feature is a good feature to have turned on when it comes to when you're on your phone late at night, maybe before bedtime. It's good to have a more warm temperature on your phone so it's not as bright and harsh on your eyes. So you may want to set that up on a schedule. And then if we go into our accessibility right here and then go to display and text size and go all the way to the bottom, we have our auto brightness. So that is on by default. I like having auto brightness off, but I know some people like to have it on, so that is there for you to choose. We do also have reduced white point, which before that would really get your brightness down to below 0%. But now with the iPhone 17s, we have 1 nit of the lowest brightness we can get. So our brightness will go down pretty low. So you might not need a reduced white point anymore, but it is there in case you need it. And this is also where you can change all your text options as well. If you need larger text or bold text, you can do that from here. And then I'd also recommend adding the text size toggle to your control center. So this will allow you to change the size of text on the fly. All right, lastly, let's take full advantage of the new camera features. The iPhone 17 Pro introduces several significant new camera features designed to enhance both photography and professional video capture. Let me walk you through the most important ones and how to actually use them. The very first thing you want to do is take full advantage of the 48 megapixel camera on your iPhone 17 Pro, because by default you're not actually getting 48 megapixel photos, so we need to change that. Go to your settings, then go to camera, then go down until you see formats. Right here under photo capture, we have photo mode, which is set by default to 24 megapixels. We need to turn on resolution control, which is off by default. So go ahead and turn that on, and you can see it tells you that it will be able to capture a maximum of 48 megapixels as long as you're not in night mode or taking flash photos. So if we take a regular photo, it will only take it as a 24 megapixel photo, which is fine. But if you want the full 48 megapixels, you need to go into your camera after enabling that setting, and you see this up at the top, it's crossed out. tap on that and that will enable JPEG Max, which is going to give you 48 megapixel photos. Now, the next thing you want to do is try out the other new camera features. There are multiple things that you can do with the iPhone 17 Pro that are pretty awesome. Now, the iPhone 17 Pros can shoot in 4K 120 frames per second. So this is not available on the regular 17 or 17 Plus, but this feature is awesome, not just because it's amazing to shoot 4K 120 in general, but also because of a feature that's built into iOS to help us really get the most out of that 4K 120. Because if you go to edit right here, take a look at this right up at the top right here, we have this little speedometer icon. If you tap on that, you're allowed to change the playback speed on the fly after recording. So if I want a certain part of a video to only be in 60 FPS, I can slow that down, and that's going to be so buttery smooth because I shot it in 120 FPS. You can now have audio playing while you're recording video. So if you're shooting a video, you can have audio playing at the same time, and that is actually a setting that is enabled by default. But if for some reason it got disabled, that's inside your settings. Go to camera, then go to record video. Then go down to record sound. Right here, we have allow audio playback. And you'll also notice in the camera application on both the iPhone 17 and 17 Pros, we now have spatial mode. So you can record spatial photos and videos with your camera now. So that was a big reason that Apple switched to the stacked camera design for shooting spatial video. It's still worth actually shooting really important moments in spatial because you never know when you're gonna wanna look back on that. So if you have a wedding coming up, if you have kids, take some videos, take some photos in spatial mode, and your future self will honestly thank you. The iPhone 17 Pro's new camera features represent a major step forward for mobile photography and videography, giving you professional grade capabilities right in your pocket. And there you have it. 5 of the best tips and tricks to getting the most out of your new iPhone. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm really committing to uploading at least one long form video every week on YouTube, so stay tuned because I'm gonna be going hard.